I found my fiancée and my brother in my bed. She humiliated me, he mocked me, and I kicked them out. But I never imagined I'd get a call from the pastor the next day. "Hello, my name is Ethan. I never thought I'd write something like this, but here I am. 6 months ago, my life fell apart, and not quietly, but in high definition. I found my brother and my fiancée in my bed, in my house. They didn't just betray me, they emptied my pockets, and they did not get away with it. I made sure they both paid dearly for what they did." A bit of context. I am 32 years old. I'm a sales executive at a tech company in Austin. I've been striving for over a decade, starting from the bottom at 22, making cold calls until managing accounts for huge companies. No inherited luxury. My parents were teachers who taught me to value every achievement. At 27, I bought my own house, made smart investments, and managed to build a life I was truly proud of. Everything fell apart on a Tuesday. That day, I had just closed the most important deal of my career, a commission so large that the bank probably thought it was money laundering. 6 figures. The kind of amount that makes your tax advisor text you, "We need to talk." I decided to go home early to surprise my fiancée Chloe with the news. I also wanted to show off a little because, with that, I had the money for the honeymoon in the Montana cabin we had dreamed of. The wedding was 6 months away. Everything was in motion. Deposits paid, venue reserved, joint accounts with contributions from both families to cover expenses. Life seemed stable, or so I thought in my naivety. While driving, I called my best friend Ryan, a lifelong friend since college. He's the kind of person who once paid a fine for me just so I could look good on a date. A straightforward guy with no filters, capable of telling you that haircut makes you look like a cheap imitation of someone famous. "What's up, millionaire?" he scoffed when I told him about the deal. "Are you taking the princess out to celebrate?" I told him I'd probably take her to the new steak restaurant that just opened downtown, the one with an impossible waiting list. He just reminded me not to forget Thursday game night, as I had missed it twice already because of wedding stuff. "I'll be there. I promise," I told him. "I might even let you win a little of this commission." He laughed. "In your dreams." When I arrived home, I saw my younger brother, Andrew's 29 car in the driveway. Nothing unusual. He had a key and would stay over occasionally. He was between projects, which was his way of saying he was unemployed. He was always my parents' favorite. 3 startup ideas in 2 years, but not a cent generated. But hey, family is family, right? The house was silent, too silent. I called out, but there was no response. Then I heard a laugh coming from upstairs, from our room. It was like in the movies, when everything goes into slow motion before the disaster. I went up each step, feeling as if I were walking against the wind. In my head, I was searching for any logical explanation, anything that wasn't the obvious. I pushed open the bedroom door, and there they were. Chloe and Andrew in the bed, in our bed. The same one I had paid $3,500 for, with a memory foam mattress when we moved in together. They were so engrossed in each other that they didn't even notice me at first. Andrew had his back to me, but I saw Chloe facing me. Her expression was a mix of adoration and lust that I had never seen directed toward me, as if he were a limited edition item on sale. I must have made some noise because Chloe turned toward the door. As soon as our eyes met, her face changed completely, from pleasure to terror. Andrew turned around and jumped, trying to cover himself, but for an instant, before he looked away, he shot me that little smirk he'd always had since childhood, that expression of, "I did it." And Ethan. "No, Ethan," Chloe said, her voice cracking. "You shouldn't be here." I felt everything swaying, the walls, the floor, everything spinning. The door frame was the only thing keeping me standing. "What the hell are you doing?" Chloe pulled the sheets over herself. Andrew just stood there, completely unashamed. "Relax, bro. It's not what it looks like." "It's not what it looks like?" I lost control. "You're telling me you're in my bed with my fiancé, and it's not what it looks like? Seriously?" Chloe started crying. fake tears that I now saw clearly. Years of manipulation disguised as cheap drama. "Ethan, please, we need to talk. It was a mistake." "A mistake?" I let out a bitter laugh. "A mistake is forgetting to like a photo." "This," I said, pointing at them. "This is a chain of decisions, one after another, for days, for weeks." Andrew pulled on his jeans and stood up. "Look, you're overreacting. It happened, and it wasn't planned." And that's when I exploded. All those years watching him get away with everything, always being served, always taking what was mine. I landed a punch that burst his lip. He fell backward, eyes wide. "What's wrong with you?" he stammered, shocked. "Welcome to reality. Here, actions have consequences. Now get out, both of you." Chloe was crying hard. "Ethan, this is my home too. We can get past this. You're overreacting." "This is my home. It's in my name. I paid for every cent. You were a guest, and your time is up." Andrew put on his shirt. His face was now a mixture of rage and fear. "You're going to regret this. Mom and Dad are going to hear about this." "Yes, of course, and with great detail." I followed them downstairs. They were collecting their things, while Chloe cried that I was being unfair, that I couldn't end 5 years over a slip-up. "You don't know what it's been like for me," she screamed. "You're always working, always on the phone. Andrew listens to me." "It sounds like that's your problem, not mine," I replied emotionlessly. And then they left. "Are you really going to throw everything away for a simple mistake? After everything I did for you? What was it you did for me, Chloe, besides emptying my accounts and sleeping with my brother?" She was speechless, as if I had insulted her whole family. "I paid for every cent of the wedding you planned to your liking," I snapped angrily. Chloe stormed out into the yard and, in a dramatic gesture, ripped my house key off her keychain and threw it into the grass. "Keep your stupid house. I never liked it. The kitchen is outdated and the neighborhood is going downhill." I watched her fall. Then I closed the door, locked the bolt, and leaned my forehead against the wood. The silence fell on me like a slab. I pulled out my cell phone and texted Ryan. "I need you to come over now. Bring energy drinks and your single neuron." He replied instantly, "On my way." What happened? I couldn't bring myself to write it. 20 minutes later, his car was in the driveway. I opened the door before he could ring the bell. He took one look at me and knew something serious had happened. "God, you look like a corpse." "What happened?" I told him everything in short sentences. His expression transformed from confusion to shock, eventually settling on pure fury. "Your brother?" he spat. "Seriously?" I nodded, the adrenaline still coursing through my veins. "You punched him in the face? Right to the jaw? Good. You should have given him another one." Ryan was like that. No unnecessary compassion, always straight to the point. "So, what are you going to do now?" "I don't know. I haven't thought that far." He handed me a can of energy drink. "First thing, we change the locks tomorrow. I know a guy who doesn't ask questions. Second, we document absolutely everything." For the first time since I opened that damn door, I felt like I could breathe again. Having someone on my side changed everything. At 9 the next morning, Ryan was at my house with coffee and a friend of his, a locksmith. Half an hour later, all the locks were new. No more unexpected visits from traders. Then, I remembered the security cameras I had installed a while ago when a package disappeared from my porch. They covered several areas of the house, including the hallway leading to the bedroom. We connected the system to the laptop and started reviewing. That's where Kyle, my co-worker, the computer security expert, came in. That guy could hack a bank with a microwave oven if he wanted to. I called him that same afternoon. "I need access to all the recorded material. Make sure it's backed up with date and time, for legal reasons." Kyle raised an eyebrow but didn't ask questions. That's why I liked him. "All right, let's see what's there." With his help, we organized all the videos, and what we discovered was much worse than I imagined. This hadn't been a slip-up. It was a pattern. In the last 3 months, Andrew had been at my house at least 14 times while I was traveling for work. Always, right after I left, and always leaving before I returned. Premeditated lies, meticulously executed deception. With Kyle's help, we backed up all the evidence on several encrypted drives. Then I checked the joint account we had set up for the wedding. I saw that more than $17,000 was missing. Systematic withdrawals during those same 3 months, some from Chloe's card, others from Andrew's. "They're damned rats," Ryan muttered, looking at the screen. "Tell me we're going all the way." "Of course," I affirmed. "I want every detail documented, dates, amounts, screenshots, everything." I created a WhatsApp group. Our family, close friends, the wedding party, Chloe's bridesmaids. I named it Important Wedding Update. I sent a single message. "The wedding is canceled. Today I discovered Chloe and Andrew together in my bed. Additionally, they have stolen over $17,000 from the wedding fund. Please direct your questions to them. I would appreciate space." I attached screenshots of them entering the room together on different dates and the bank statements with the withdrawals. Then I left the group and turned off my phone. The next morning I saw the key she had thrown, glinting in the wet grass. I picked it up and kept it, not as a souvenir but as a symbol of the disaster I had just been saved from. By noon, Ryan helped me empty the house of anything that belonged to her. Clothes, makeup, photos. Everything went straight into black bags. We left them on the curb. "Do you want to set it on fire?" Ryan asked, half jokingly. "No, let the garbage take it because that's what it is." My sister, Anna, called Ryan's cell phone. Mine was still off. "It's your sister," he said, handing me the phone. "Do you want to talk to her?" I took it. "Ethan, it's total chaos," Anna said, sounding frantic. "Mom and Dad kicked Andrew out of the house. He's going around saying you hit him for no reason, but no one believes him. Chloe's parents are furious. They say you're inventing everything and that you're abusive." "Do they have any proof that I'm lying?" I asked. "Relax, of course not. The bank movements speak for themselves. I'm so sorry, Ethan. We're all with you. What they did to you is unforgivable." Ryan took the phone back. "Hello, Anna. It's Ryan. Listen, Ethan is staying with me for a few days. If anyone needs to talk to him, they can call me." And he hung up. "Pack a bag. You're not staying here alone to dwell on this. My guest room is yours for as long as you need." That afternoon, I received a voicemail on my new number. Unknown number. It was Pastor Johnson, the same one who was going to officiate the ceremony. He said he needed to talk to me urgently about forgiveness, healing, and certain economic aspects that could be mutually beneficial. I played the audio for Ryan, who burst out laughing. Translation: "Please don't sue them for the money they stole. We'll throw in some free Christian guilt. Nothing like charity to try and manipulate you." I didn't return the call. That night, sitting on Ryan's sofa, the confusion finally dissipated. In its place, something colder, firmer, remained: determination. They think this is just a one-afternoon mistake, that it can be fixed with tears, apologies, and money. They have no idea who they messed with. 2 weeks after watching my life burn, I returned to my house. Ryan continued to stop by daily, making sure I ate, helping me restore order to the chaos. One day, I decided to call Pastor Johnson. I was curious to see what angle they would try to approach me from. The call was a manual of spiritual manipulation disguised as good wishes. He spoke of forgiveness, second chances, and the Christian path to follow. "Ethan," he said, with a tone drenched in false compassion, "Chloe's parents are devastated. The venue reservation alone cost $22,000. In the name of Christian charity, they expect you to cover that expense, since you were the one who canceled the wedding so suddenly." "Pastor," I replied, striving to keep my voice steady, "I didn't cancel anything. It was the betrayal that ruined the wedding. That betrayal came from their daughter. The deposit is the price of that decision. It is not my place to pay it. And as for my brother, he is no longer my business. My parents raised us with the same principles. He chose to stray from that." The pastor let out a long sigh. "Chloe's parents are considering taking legal action for the wedding expenses." "They have every right to try," I replied, unperturbed. "But let them know that I have already filed a police report and a civil lawsuit against Chloe and Andrew for the theft of the $17,000 from our joint account. If they want to join that legal fight, that is their decision. I hung up before he could continue speaking. Later, when Ryan stopped by the house, I told him about the conversation. "They have some nerve, huh?" he said, shaking his head. "After what their daughter did, they still intend to get money from you." "That's not the best part," I commented. "My parents finally called me." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "And what did they say?" "They have banned Andrew from returning home. They have completely cut him off." Ryan nodded firmly. "Finally, they're putting their priorities in order." The lawsuit was moving forward. First, the report for the theft of the wedding fund money. Then came the countersuit from Chloe, alleging emotional distress and that the money was a gift she was entitled to. Ryan recommended his cousin, Sarah, a lawyer everyone called the Piranha. Expensive, yes, but every penny was worth it. Her record was impeccable, and she had a knack for handling emotionally charged cases without losing her cool or her strategy. Around that time, I started running into Zoe, Chloe's supposed best friend. Suddenly, she started appearing everywhere: coffee shops, the gym, even the supermarket. At first, I thought it was a coincidence until she accidentally bumped into me at a mall. "Ethan." "What a surprise," she said, feigning astonishment. "Really?" I replied dryly. "I just want you to know that Chloe is completely devastated. Yes, sure, she made a mistake, only once. Once, repeated 14 times in 3 months. That math is fascinating." Zoe's forced smile vanished. "She's having a hard time. She can't sleep or eat. She truly loves you. It was Andrew who manipulated her." I looked at her without saying anything for a moment. "Are you finished?" "I just think that if you talked, tell Chloe that if she wants to talk, she should do it through my lawyer, and tell her to stop sending you to spy on me. It's pathetic." Zoe's face hardened. "You're just as cold and cruel as she said you were." "And yet, she chose something worse," I replied as I walked away. Meanwhile, Andrew was posting on social media that I was mentally unstable, that I had assaulted him for no reason, and that Chloe and I were on a break when they started their relationship. She also participated, saying that I was controlling and abusive, that she had been trying to leave me for months but was afraid. Ah, the famous, "we were on a break." Rosie called from 1997, and even he doesn't believe that excuse. "Did you see this trash?" Ryan texted me one night, sending me screenshots of the posts. "I try not to," I replied. "Well, I'm saving everything for Sarah. This is pure defamation. They're sinking themselves. The Piranha recommended I sue them for defamation. They're serving it up to us on a silver platter," she commented during a meeting. Ryan accompanied me as backup. Every post, every lie, every unfounded accusation. It's all ammunition for us, Sarah concluded. Then messages started arriving from Chloe's bridesmaids. They demanded that I return the money for their dresses, the bachelorette party trip, even their nail appointments. One of them, Ashley, called me screaming that I had ruined everything and should compensate them for the trauma caused. I forwarded all the messages to Sarah, who added them to what she called our exaggeration file. Ryan laughed nonstop. "Let me see if I understand. You catch your fiancée sleeping with your brother, and it turns out you owe money to her friends. That's a new level of shamelessness. What do they think this is? A subscription service with a right to a refund?" Chloe went even further. She showed up at my work, screaming in the lobby that I was a psychopath and a controlling monster. Security had to remove her while my coworkers watched in complete silence. My boss called me into his office afterward. "Is there anything I should know?" he asked cautiously. I told him a summarized version. To his credit, he nodded and said, "If she shows up again, we'll have her arrested for trespassing. And Ethan, your promotion is still on track. Don't let this affect your career." When I told Ryan what happened, he was furious. "That's it. We're getting a restraining order. She's crossing the line. And that can be dangerous." And it didn't end there. 3 days later, my neighbor called me to warn me that Chloe was outside my house, throwing my things into the yard and yelling that I was hiding things from her. When I arrived, she had smashed a flower pot against my door and spray-painted "liar" on the garage. I called the police, filed a report, and obtained a temporary restraining order, That same day, my lawyer added charges of harassment and property damage to our countersuit. Chloe's response was immediate. She did a 45-minute live stream on Instagram, crying and saying that I was using the judicial system to punish her, that she feared for her safety. Andrew joined in, asserting that I had a history of violence that no one knew about. Fortunately, the security cameras at my work captured her entire scene in 4K. The garage incident was recorded by my neighbor's smart doorbell. The evidence doesn't lie. Ryan organized something he called Operation Normalcy. Twice a week, several college friends would come over. We played video games, watched sports, we just hung out. They came to be there without drama, reminding me that life goes on. My sister Anna became my family liaison. She answered questions from relatives and kept me updated on how the storm was going. Andrew, apparently, tried to return to my parents' house when his apartment fell apart, but they didn't yield. He was now staying at a college friend's house, telling anyone who would listen that I had overreacted and destroyed the family. The more he talks, the less people believe him, Anna told me. Even Grandma Betty told him to stop blaming others. If Grandma Betty is against you, you've hit rock bottom. The following weeks were a real drain. Chloe's lawyer sent a letter saying she was entitled to half the value of my house because she had lived there for 3 years, even though she never paid the mortgage or was listed on any document. They also claimed that the $17,000 was a gift for the wedding preparations and that she had verbal permission to use it as she wished. I showed the letter to Ryan, and he let out a laugh as if it were a bad joke. "What planet are these people living on?" he said. "Please tell me Sarah is going to destroy them." The lawyer's response was as precise as it was devastating. She replied with the bank records that proved I had been the only one to deposit money into that account. She also presented screenshots of messages in which Chloe and I explicitly talked about saving that money to cover the venue and catering payments. Meanwhile, Andrew was evading the process server trying to deliver the lawsuit papers. He had gone to live with an old college friend and was going around telling people that I was going through a psychotic crisis, that I had even violently assaulted him. In parallel, a social media campaign intensified against me. Chloe posted a long video, tears and all, talking about how she was a survivor of emotional abuse. She claimed she had made only one mistake and that I was using that to ruin her life. Andrew shared the video, assuring that he had only tried to comfort her after I supposedly neglected her for months. Zoe also appeared in that video, nodding with a sad expression while saying that I was controlling, that I wouldn't even let Chloe go out with her friends without tracking her location. It was all lies. We knew it. Ryan and I turned evidence collection into a strategic operation. We created a shared cloud folder where we saved screenshots, recordings, and time-stamped records of every lie. We even started tracking who commented, who shared, and who believed them. "Know your enemy," Ryan told me as we organized the files. "This is not just for the trial. It's to know who deserves to stay in your life and who should be left out forever." Some mutual friends started taking sides. Most saw through the lies, but some, especially those who only knew Chloe's version, started sending me aggressive messages. The legal situation escalated when Chloe's lawyer requested a mental health evaluation for me. They argued that I had an explosive temperament and paranoid behavior that justified a psychological examination. It was a desperate move. Sarah responded with sworn statements from my boss and co-workers, who testified about my mental stability and professional behavior even during this storm. The judge dismissed the motion in less than 5 minutes, another point for our side. Throughout that time, Sarah advised me to remain publicly silent while we gathered more proof. "Let them sink themselves," she said. "Every lie they tell is another nail in their legal coffin." Ryan was my grounding force. Every time he caught me compulsively checking social media posts, he would take my phone away. When I started doubting myself, he would confront me with brutal sincerity. "Listen to me," he told me one night as the legal bills piled up, and I wondered if it was worth continuing. "This isn't about money anymore. They betrayed you, they stole from you, and now they're trying to destroy your reputation. If you give up now, they win, and people like that should never win. He was right. It was no longer just about Chloe and Andrew. It was about defending myself, about showing that actions have consequences. The court depositions were intense. Chloe cried almost the entire time, trying to paint herself as the victim of an oppressive fiancé who pushed her into the arms of someone who did listen to her. Andrew, for his part, tried to wash his hands of it, saying that Chloe had manipulated him. Basically, he threw her under the bus to save himself. I remained cold and precise. I presented all the evidence in an orderly fashion without getting upset. Sarah had prepared me well. No personal attacks or emotional reactions, just the facts. "You did excellently," Sarah told me afterward. "Their lawyer knows they're lost. I saw his face when we showed the video." 4 months after the start of this nightmare, we began to see the light. In the discovery phase of the trial, it was revealed exactly where the money had gone. Chloe had withdrawn almost everything in cash, but bank cameras captured Andrew with her on several occasions. Furthermore, text messages obtained through a court order made the magnitude of the betrayal clear. They had planned to flee together. The money was to start a new life in Colorado. They had already made a down payment on an apartment using my money. They had bought the tickets with my money. Even Andrew's new car had been partially financed with my wedding savings. But the most compelling evidence came from an unexpected source. Aunt Carol, Chloe's father's sister, had always been the only sensible one in that family. Someone with no tolerance for drama. One night she called me directly. "Ethan," she said in a grave tone, "I need to tell you something." Chloe had confessed everything to her mother 3 months prior. She admitted to keeping the money. She confessed that the romance with Andrew had been going on for almost a year. I felt my fingers go numb around the phone. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because they keep lying. My brother knows, but he still supports this defamation campaign against you. It's not right." Carol agreed to sign an affidavit. It was the breaking point. With her testimony and all the evidence gathered, Chloe's lawyer approached ours to negotiate a settlement. They knew they had no way to win, especially the defamation lawsuit looked disastrous for them. The negotiations were tough. Sarah demanded the full repayment of the stolen money, compensation for moral damages, and the full payment of legal fees. Chloe's team tried to reduce everything, citing financial difficulties. "Your client should have thought about that before stealing $17,000 and buying tickets to Colorado," Sarah replied. We finally reached a settlement, the full refund of the $17,000, plus $35,000 for defamation, plus all legal expenses. Chloe had to publish a public retraction, acknowledging that her accusations were false and apologizing. Andrew also had to, even though he no longer had a cent because his car was repossessed to cover his share. The social media campaign collapsed immediately. The dryly and legally worded retraction posts caused a storm. Those who had defended them felt cheated. Those who had supported me felt vindicated. Chloe's parents remained silent. The church's prayer group disbanded. Pastor Johnson, who had preached so much about forgiveness when he thought I was the guilty one, now had nothing to say. Zoe tried to contact me privately, claiming she never entirely believed Chloe and was just trying to be a good friend. I blocked her without responding. The victory felt empty, but necessary. I never wanted all this. I just wanted a normal life with someone who truly loved me. Instead, I got a comprehensive lesson on betrayal and lawsuits. Ryan came over the night the settlement was finalized. He brought beers and ordered pizza. "I know this doesn't feel like a win," he said, more serious than usual. "But I want you to know something. I've watched you face the worst possible betrayal with more composure than most. You didn't break. You just fought for the truth. That's something you should be proud of." I didn't know what to say to him, but I didn't need to. That's what true friendship is all about. Sometimes, just being present is enough. 6 months have passed since the settlement. A full year since that Tuesday afternoon when everything fell apart. Today, although the landscape has changed, it's no longer a battlefield. I sold the house. Too many memories, too many open wounds. I moved to a smaller apartment downtown. Completely mine. New space, new atmosphere, new beginning. Ryan helped me with the move, accompanied by a group of friends who stayed by my side throughout the storm. "No offense," he said as we arranged the furniture in the living room, "but your old house looked like it was designed by Chloe. It had all that corny, live, laugh, love energy. This place actually feels like you." Since the breakup, I had fully thrown myself into the gym. I needed to channel all that rage somehow, and the results soon showed. I lost the stress weight and gained real muscle. My trainer said I had natural aptitude for powerlifting, and I soon started competing in local tournaments. Kyle, the guy from the office, turned out to have been a college wrestler. We started training together every morning. Work became more than a source of income. It was my refuge. I came in early, left late. I immersed myself in every project that came up. 3 months after the settlement, my boss called me into his office. They offered me a promotion, a corner office, and a 30% raise in salary. Then Andrew appeared. He showed up at my office one day without warning. He looked nothing like the arrogant younger brother he used to be. His clothes were wrinkled, he had deep dark circles under his eyes, and a vacant look. He had lost his job, his social circle, his reputation. Our parents were still firm. He wouldn't be welcome at home until he made a real act of amends. "Ethan," he said, his voice cracking, "I need help. I can't find a job. No one will rent to me with that judgment on my record. I'm sleeping on couches." I observed him in silence for a few seconds. The former golden child, now reduced to this. I asked him the question that had been haunting me for a year. "Why did you do it?" He lowered his gaze. "I don't know. I always wanted to have what you had. Everything seemed so easy for you. The job, the house, the woman. Chloe made me feel special. For the first time, I felt like I was better than you. And there, I understood everything. It wasn't about love or passion. It was just envy, human misery disguised as betrayal." "I can't help you, Andrew," I finally replied. "There are bridges that, once burned, cannot be rebuilt." I walked past him to my office. I felt no satisfaction, only closure. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. It was a Thursday night. I was cooking at home when someone started banging heavily on the door. I looked through the peephole. Chloe had a wild look in her eyes and smudged makeup. I opened the door, leaving the security chain on. "You're violating the court order. Leave, or I'm calling the police." "Please," she sobbed. "I need to talk to you. It's important. Just 5 minutes." Against my better judgment, I slid the chain off. The moment I opened it, she lunged inside. That's when I saw it. An incipient but unmistakable baby bump. She was pregnant. "Andrew left," she said through tears. "He disappeared, changed his number, closed his social media. He doesn't want anything to do with the baby." I stood there. And what does that have to do with me? Her face shifted from distress to manipulation. "You're the only one who can help me. My parents won't speak to me. I can't do this alone, Ethan. We were engaged. Everyone knows it. You're implying that I pretend to be the father? You always wanted to have children," she screamed, now out of control. "You were always better than him, more responsible, more stable. This baby needs someone like you, not like him." "Let me see if I understand," I said without raising my voice. "You cheat on me with my brother, empty my accounts, try to ruin my life, and now you want me to raise your child. It's not like that. It was a mistake. I still love you. I've always loved you." "No," I replied calmly. "You don't love me. You only loved what I could give you. And now I want you to leave my house. Or I'm calling the police." She screamed in rage, a raw, desperate sound. "You're going to regret this. This baby isn't at fault. How can you be so cruel?" "As cruel as you were when you slept with my brother in my bed," I retorted without an ounce of emotion. "Actions have consequences, Chloe, and these are yours." I had 911 dialed on my phone screen. "You have 30 seconds before I press call." Her face twisted in fury. "You think you won? You haven't seen the last of me." She left, slamming the door on her way out. I called Ryan immediately. He arrived in less than 20 minutes. He saw me, completely stunned, and just shook his head. Pregnant by Andrew? This keeps getting more unbelievable. He helped me calm down. Are you okay? Yeah, I said, surprised at how sincere I sounded. I'm really okay. That was her last attempt, her final play, and it didn't work. It's over. The months finally passed. At work, I not only kept my job but thrived. It seems that facing personal chaos without neglecting professional duties left a good impression. I became even more consistent at the gym. Kyle and I signed up for a powerlifting competition. He won his category. I came in third in mine. Not bad for my first time. I went out with some people, but nothing serious. Trust is no longer something I give easily. I made new friends, joined a basketball league, started climbing, living for myself and not for others' expectations. Ryan continued to be my unconditional support. When I started thinking too much, he would take me to a concert or a game. When I hesitated to accept the promotion for fear of stress, he just said, "After the year you've had, this is a piece of cake. Take the damn raise." I heard through Anna that Andrew was working at a gas station in a remote town 2 states away. Chloe had moved back in with her parents, who were now dealing with the consequences of their daughter's decisions. Sometimes the most accurate justice is the one life delivers on its own. I learned that surviving a betrayal isn't just about revenge or moving on. It's about emerging on the other side as someone the old you would admire, and I think I succeeded.